God shows up when we take steps of faith. Our teacher at the time was teaching out of Amos, where it says, woe to those who are complacent in Zion, those who grew comfortable. And I remember just sitting in class listening to this going, man, that's totally me. I do nothing out of faith. All I do is sit around and talk theology in my classes and eat lunch with Christians. And gosh, that's not right. Like, God speaks against that comfort. And I remember just getting in my car that weekend and driving into downtown LA, having no clue what I was going to do, but I just wanted to get away and say, you know what, I need to do something that requires some sort of faith, some sort of risk. And I thought, well, I always have a hard time sharing my faith. Why don't I go do that? And I was just driving around downtown LA and just parked, and this bum comes up to me, this street person comes up, and he's like, buy me a burrito. And I was like, okay, and so I went and bought him a burrito, and I brought it back to him, and then he comes over and he hugs me, and he goes, thank you so much, what can I do for you? I told him, I go, I'm here to talk to people about Jesus. And he goes, tell me about him. I'm like, and so I just opened the Bible, and I don't even remember what passage I turned to, but I didn't have a message. I didn't know what to say. I just started reading. But after a while, honestly, there were like a dozen bums right in front of me. And I'm thinking, no way. These people are listening. And I remember one guy starts cussing at me. So I sat down next to him, and I go, what's your name? And he goes, JD. And I go, JD, I'm Francis. I go, so you just hate what I'm doing right now, huh? He goes, yeah, we don't need any of that, stuff out of here, I go, so you don't believe there's a God? He goes, no. I'm like, so you're going to tell me right now you don't believe there's a creator, and you don't believe that Jesus was the Son of God and died on the cross for your sin? And he looks at me, and after a few seconds, he goes, I know. He goes, I grew up in the church, but look at me. Strung out on drugs, living on the street. I don't want anyone knowing that I believe in Jesus. And we started talking, and I go, okay, I'll meet you here next Saturday, because I went there every weekend, and I brought him a Bible. Man, it was an amazing time. And I remember one time, this guy, JD, he goes, yeah, this corner is where I almost died. I'm like, wow. And he told me his story about how he was stabbed and left to die, and he was picked up by an ambulance, taken to the hospital, cleaned up, and thrown back on the street. And he said this, he goes, man, I always pray to God still. And I go, God, why'd you keep me alive? He goes, and then you came. You were like an angel from heaven sent to me. And he started talking about how ever since I started talking to him, now he's been sharing his faith with people.